it's the end of an era for Outlander. After a decade of time travel, heartbreak, battles, and unforgettable moments, the cast and crew have officially wrapped filming on the final season, marking a powerful journey of 101 episodes. Emotions were high as Sam Heughan took to social media, posting never-before-seen behind-the-scenes photos that offer a wild, raw, and surprisingly joyful look at some of the show's darkest moments. Scenes that once left fans speechless with shock and tears now revealed with the cast laughing, smiling, even drenched in blood. To commemorate the final days on set, the actors posed with clapboards, each revealing what they'd take with them if they could. Sam wanted Jamie's iconic kilt. David Barry hoped for Lord John Grey's ring. Caitriona Balfe, she jokingly just wanted a nap. And Richard Rankin, always on brand, said he'd love to leave with his dignity intact. But beyond the jokes and souvenirs, this farewell marks the closing chapter of one of television's most beloved epic tales, and fans are not ready to say goodbye. A lot of fans seem to think we're down to just one final season of Outlander Season 8, but hold on, because that's not entirely true. What many have forgotten or maybe never realized is that Season 7 Part 2 is still on the horizon. And not just in the works, but fully on its way to our screens this November. In fact, I've seen people online already referring to these upcoming episodes as Season 8, which just adds to the confusion. So let's set the record straight. Mark your calendars, November 22 is when Outlander Season 7 Part 2 officially premieres, bringing with it 8 brand new episodes that promise drama, romance, and some long overdue confrontations. Only after that will we get to the real final season, Season 8, which is expected to include 10 episodes and bring the epic saga to a heartfelt conclusion. As of now, there's no confirmed release date for Season 8, but all signs point to a late 2025 or early 2026 premiere. So yes, there's still plenty more story to be told before we say goodbye to Claire and Jamie for good. Now that we've cleared up the confusion, let's talk about what's next, because Season 7 Part 2 is shaping up to be explosive. And yes, there are minor spoilers ahead, so consider this your fair warning. Let's start with Episode 9, titled Unfinished Business, and oh boy, is that title fitting. This episode is set to dive deep into one of Jamie Fraser's most complicated, uncomfortable relationships, his former wife, Claire Mackenzie. That's right, Leia is back. And if you thought her story was wrapped up, think again. Newly released stills show her face-to-face with Jamie after years apart, and let's just say the tension is palpable. She hasn't changed much, still sharp-tongued, still dramatic, and yes, still frustrating. If you remember, Jamie agreed to pay her alimony way back in Season 4 after their brief, tumultuous marriage. That financial arrangement hasn't been mentioned in a while, and many fans assumed it was forgotten. But nope, this is the unfinished business that's coming to the surface. And it's likely to stir up all kinds of emotions, especially for Claire, who was left behind the second Claire returned through the stones. Now, let's be real, Claire has never been a fan favorite. She tried to sabotage Claire more than once, even dabbled in dark means to get her way. But despite all that, there's something oddly compelling about her presence. Maybe it's the chaos she brings, or maybe it's just that Outlander knows how to stir the pot right when things start to feel safe. So am I looking forward to this storyline? Absolutely. It's messy, dramatic, and undeniably personal, and it might just be one of the standout episodes of the season. Brotherly Love. Episode 10 is Brotherly Love, centered on Jamie and the original Old Ian. While they're not brothers by blood, their bond has always been strong. Ian is one of the more level-headed members of the Fraser family. This episode will also touch on an illness Ian suffers from, which becomes important later. 100 Weight of Stones. Episode 11 is titled 100 Weight of Stones, a chapter title from Book 8, written in my own heart's blood. It's about young Ian, and this storyline is teased in a 7B teaser where he's seen stacking stones, a kind of monument to honor the dead. Now let's talk about the deeper emotional undercurrents flowing through Outlander Season 7 Part 2, because there's a lot more happening beneath the surface than just plot twists and action. One key moment centers around young Ian, and it's not as straightforward as it first appears. The big question, who exactly is he mourning? The answer, like much of Outlander, is layered and bittersweet. You see, much of the season will follow the emotional journey of Claire and young Ian as they leave Scotland before Jamie does. Their separation is temporary, or so they believe. But when Jamie eventually sets sail for America to reunite with them, tragedy strikes. The ship Jamie was supposed to be on sinks. News travels fast, and across the ocean, his family receives devastating word: Jamie Fraser is dead. Claire is shattered. Ian is stunned. The entire Fraser clan begins mourning a man who is, in reality, very much alive. Here's the twist: Jamie had missed the doomed vessel and ended up taking the next ship. So while he's safe, alive, and completely unaware of the chaos his absence has caused, those who love him most are grieving deeply. This is why we see young Ian mourning him symbolically. It's not just about death, but about the unbearable emotional weight of believing you've lost the person who's been a rock in your life. The episode title also hints at Ian's growing responsibility. With Jamie presumed gone, the emotional and practical burden of leadership falls on his shoulders. Ian now feels the unspoken duty to care for Claire and help anchor the Fraser family during one of the most uncertain times they've ever faced. It's a defining moment for his character, both heartbreaking and heroic. Now, shifting gears, let's talk about Episode 12, Carnal Knowledge, a title that's sending shockwaves through the Outlander book fandom. This episode brings to life one of the most jaw-dropping, emotionally complex scenes from Diana Gabaldon's novels. In it, Lord John Grey delivers a line so bold, so unforgettable, that fans have been waiting years to hear it on screen. "I have had carnal knowledge of your wife." Yes, you read that right. This bombshell moment happens after Claire and Lord John, in the fog of grief and alcohol, sleep together, each imagining Jamie, who they believe is dead. It's tragic, messy, and deeply human. When Jamie learns the truth, his reaction isn't just jealousy or betrayal, it's visceral trauma. He's more hurt that Lord John imagined him during the act than by the act itself. That detail ties back to the brutal memories of Blackjack Randall and the complicated scars Jamie still carries. This moment is emotionally charged, and Jamie's violent reaction, physically attacking Lord John, isn't just rage, it's pain, grief, and betrayal tangled into one. How the show chooses to portray this delicate, explosive scene will be something fans watch very closely. But so far, we know the iconic line is staying in, and that's already a win. Next, we arrive at Episode 13, Hello Goodbye, a title that was originally The Raven and the Dove. While both titles are poetic and mysterious, their meanings aren't entirely clear just yet. Hello Goodbye could hint at reunions and farewells, perhaps echoing Jamie's return or a major turning point for Claire. Meanwhile, The Raven and the Dove sound symbolic, possibly referring to characters or themes of death and peace, loss and love. If you've got theories, I'd love to hear them in the comments, because this one's still wide open for interpretation. And finally, Episode 14, You Didn't Get Used to It, brings us back to the horrors of war. It follows the trio Jamie, Claire, and young Ian as they return to the Battle of Monmouth, one of the most intense historical confrontations of the American Revolutionary War. The episode title refers to a chilling moment between Jamie and Ian. Before going into battle, Ian asks, "Do you ever get used to war?" Jamie's reply, "No, you do not." That line alone carries so much weight. It reminds us that, for all his strength and bravery, Jamie has never become numb to violence. War changes people, but it never gets easier. And in that honest, vulnerable admission, we're reminded once again of why we love these characters so deeply. Written in my own heart's blood. Episode 15 shares the name of Book 8, Written in My Own Heart's Blood. That title is a spoiler itself. In the teaser, Claire is shot during the Battle of Monmouth, prompting Jamie to retire from the army. Right then and there, he writes his resignation letter using Claire's blood on an officer's jacket. She's his heart, and he's leaving it all behind for her. It's incredibly emotional. Book readers, how did you feel when you first read that scene? And finally, we come to episode 16, 100,000 Angels, a hauntingly beautiful title that resonates on a spiritual level. Named after the moving song by Bliss, and later covered by the late, great Sin Ad O'Connor, the title alone promises something deeply emotional, possibly even transcendent. But it leaves us asking, who are these angels? Fans will remember a powerful moment from earlier seasons when Claire, on the brink of death after being shot, begins to hallucinate. In her altered state, she sees familiar faces, women from her past. Her mother, her grandmother, maybe even Myrta, standing beside her like a silent guardian. It's in those moments of pain, fear, and surrender that Claire is somehow held by a presence larger than life, a presence that just might be her 100,000 angels. Could this episode bring us back to that mystical, emotional space? Perhaps these angels aren't literal, but symbolic, the loved ones who guide us, comfort us, and give us strength in our darkest hour. One thing is certain, it's bound to be a soul-stirring conclusion to a season filled with heartache, redemption, and unexpected grace. If you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for sharing your time, your passion, and your love for this incredible journey we've all been on with Outlander. Every twist, every tear, every triumph has meant something because we felt it together. Let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your hopes for the final episodes in the comments. What do you think the angels represent? Who are you most excited or terrified to see again? Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and as always, thank you for being part of this incredible fandom.